welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some tips on how to book your flights, what you need to look for, what you need to watch out for, and how to get you ready for a fantastic adventure. Here we go. Okay, one of the apps that I prefer to use when I am looking for flights for trips is the Hopper app. It's very easy to. What you're seeing right now is the departure dates and return dates, and August has the best dates. Green means good prices. Well, it actually means better prices, not great prices. But as you can see, the lowest price was with British Airways, $865 for a little over 14-hour flight with a layover in London. One of the things you want to consider is not only the price, but the number of hours you're in the sky. And if you have a layover, you want to be sure that you're giving yourself some time between the time you land and the time that you take off, because you don't want to miss your connecting flight. I usually try to give my clients, at least 2 hours at a stop, because your flight could be delayed, and that could cause you to miss your connecting flight, which can create a mess. So I know that we want to get where we want to go as quickly as possible, but if you have a connecting flight, you don't want to miss it. So be sure to check not only the prices, the number of hours you're flying, but the connecting. Okay, so let's say you do choose to do British Airways and you have a layover in London. You chose the short flight and lowest price. You also want to be mindful of the fact that England requires us to have an ETA, which is an electronic travel authorization. A lot of times you might not need that if you're just staying inside the airport on landside, but it is recommended that you have it even if you are just there to make a connecting flight. So that's another thing to consider if you're thinking about a layover in London or a trip to London. Of course, you're going to have that if you plan to get off the plane and go into London. Now, what I'm looking at here are all of the basic economy perks or things that you get with basic economy. And this is another option here, Washington, D.C. You could fly into Washington and have a 50-minute layover. Sounds great. Get in there, get out. But remember, if you are making a connecting flight, you want to have a little buffer time. You don't want to be rushing, and you don't want to miss your connecting flight. So a 50-minute connecting, I don't think it's a good idea. Back to the all the things that you will get with an economy ticket. So as you can see, you can go into Hopper and see what's offered on each flight. So that is also another consideration if you are planning to take a large bag or two. You're going to have to pay for those. So everything is an option. I usually travel as light as possible, and if I can get away with it, I'm traveling with carry-on. You get a carry-on bag and a backpack, and I also have a neck pillow that is a secret storage compartment for things, so gets me through. Now we're looking at a layover in Atlanta, which is a little over 2 hours. That is much better. Plus, you don't have to worry about the ETA. So there's a lot of things to consider when you're looking at your flights, and it can be stressful looking at these and trying to figure out what's the best option for me. You know, the times, the price, and now I'm looking at the return flights. Now, if you're on a cruise, those early morning hour return flights, you're not going to make it. And as you have seen, if you've noticed, the less expensive flights are the ones that take off in the morning. So you're going to miss those more than likely if you're on a cruise. If you're just doing a land tour, you're probably going to be fine. But you got to take that into consideration, how much time it takes to get through customs. So those early morning flights, you got to be there at least 3 hours early for those, even though most of the time you're going to be fine. But I have had situations where I've had bag checks, long lines, waiting in long lines. So you want to be aware of all the things that could possibly happen and get there in plenty of time. So I'm just going to pick one. I'm picking one that's from Athens straight to Boston with a layover there, 2 hours and 48 minutes. Sounds perfect. But of course, that is a more expensive flight that leaves in the afternoon. Another suggestion might be if you want to have a later or an early morning flight and you're on a cruise, just book a hotel, stay another night in the city uh, where you disembarked, and go the next day. Okay, so let me take the sunglasses off, even though it sure does help. It's a lot of light out here. So I've shared with you some travel tips on flights and booking flights, and even though I'm sharing what I use, that I use the Hopper app, I actually don't book through Hopper. I will go through the airlines directly to book my flights. And I also prefer that my clients will book directly, because when and if, hopefully never, but if it happens that you have an issue, often airlines will not, they will not work directly with you if you've gone through a third party uh, person to book your flight. So let's say you go through Hopper, they may expect to talk with someone from Hopper. If you go through Expedia, they will want to talk with someone from Expedia. Now, with Expedia, with Hopper, you may be able to get lower rates. With Hopper, not so much. From what I've found, the price for the flights is exactly what they have on the app. However, they often offer discounts, so you might get a discount. But I do like to go directly through the airlines, and I help clients to book their flights if they ask me to do that. But I like for them to book directly so they are able to. I will help them find the flights, but I like for them to book their own flights so that they are able to work with the airlines if there's ever an issue. Keep in mind there is a lot of things that sometimes you don't think about when you are booking trips, and if you're booking international trips, Hopper does not have all the airlines on it, most of them, but I do know that Southwest is not on there. Now, of course, Southwest doesn't fly everywhere, but they do domestic flights, flights within the United States, and I think they go to a lot of the Caribbean locations in Mexico. So you're not going to see Southwest flights on that. I also use Google Flights. I sometimes will go to Google Flights to check what they have. So there's a lot of research involved in getting from one place to another. And I love to travel, so I kind of enjoy that. And if you like to travel but would prefer to have someone help you with your travels, your adventures, then I hope you might reach out to me. I will leave my email in the description below. That's the best way to reach me, or just send me a message in the description. I will get back with you. I'll also leave some of the items that I have used in my flights, because I always fly economy. At some point, maybe I will be able to fly business class or first class, but it's not likely. So right now, I'm an economy budget flyer, and when I'm looking for flights for my clients, unless they tell me differently, I'm looking for the least expensive flights. You can always upgrade, and but everything is in the description. The little tools I like to take with me to make my flights a little bit more comfortable. There's a gnat out here, of course, trying to steal my thunder. But thank you for sharing your time with me. I hope if you like this video, you're going to give it a big thumbs up, and I hope you will reach out to me if you have any travel plans that you would like to help with, and happy traveling.